Hello everybody, welcome to Flight Past, and my name is Simon. We are continuing our journey following Napoleon from the island of Elba. In previous episodes we managed to follow him from this island here, Elba, just off the coast of Italy. This was in around about February 1815, and in the few days he lands down here at the Gulf Juan, which is this bay here, and he then proceeds to cross the Alps, following this valley here through Gap, and we discussed his meeting at this area here with the 5th Line Infantry, which was the one where he offers his chest to the infantry of the 5th to shoot him. And we got to Lyon, and so what we're going to do, we're going to fly now from Lyon towards Paris. We also did a bit of a detour. We went off here to Lons Le Sainier, which is here. This is where Ney had gone to take command of some troops that were going to intercept Napoleon. But he manages the troops, the people, persuaded Ney to come across to Napoleon's side. Well, we will discuss this on the way. Let's just start off here, and then we're going to fly to Auxerre, which is here, and we will end up trying to get as near as possible to Paris. And what I thought we'd do today is we'll just have a little general chat, and I noticed that there's a lot of people who are new, so I thank you so much for your support. I can't believe people actually want to hear this stuff, but yeah, that's good. And we'll discuss what we're doing. We seem to be inside a building. Oh, there we go. We're okay. Now, I know Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 has been having some issues, especially because I'm using the PS5. And we seem to be okay. We're in the Huey. So let's get in the air and start flying. I spent the weekend reviewing some of my streams, and I decided that the camera position wasn't in the correct place. So I've changed it now, so I'm down to the bottom right. So there's always going to be little bits of improvements, and trying to just sort of make it a more enjoyable stream. Oh, I've added you guys, so I'm on the right. I'm in the pilot seat here in the Huey, and you guys now are on my left over here. So you'll be able to see your chat on that side. So you're in charge of making sure I don't crash, telling me where I'm going wrong, nagging me all those sorts of things. So just feel free to chat away. For the people who are new to the channel, Flight Pastors uses Microsoft Flight Simulator's satellite imagery. Microsoft has basically recreated a one-to-one recreation of the Earth, and so what we can do is we can do things we couldn't do in real life. We can fly low, have a look at the buildings, check out the topography, and it was my idea basically that I would have a look at interesting events from history and talk about that. I'm not really a pilot. I know how to fly in the simulator, but that's about it. And so I thought, you're not going to appreciate me telling you what all these dials do. I'm sure you guys are a lot more into that sort of stuff. Hello. But what I thought was really cool, which I find really cool, when I was finding I was doing a lot of, was having a look at the history, famous sites and things like that as I go along. So you're the co-pilot, I'm the pilot, and we're here. It's sort of central France. We're in the Huey. We just left Lyon, and we're going to have a leisurely flight today, following the route that Napoleon took in 1815. So let's recap for the anybody new. By the way, you can, whilst I'm here, I'm on the European server West. So if you have got Microsoft Flight Simulator, then you can just join in. You will find I've started to try to put a schedule of my streams. Tend to be UK time, lunchtime, but I'll try to get a little bit more regular on the times, and try to sort of tell you guys when I'm actually on, so that you can actually join in. These are videos that are always recorded live. There's no edits, but I will break up these longer streams that are on Twitch and repost them onto YouTube. So hi to the YouTube guys. At any point, just leave a message if you want, say hi or whatever. If you notice I've said something wrong, then please tell me, and I can fix that. And if you want me to show you something, or have a better look at something, then just give me a shout. Really love it if it helps. This sort of stuff helps an actual understanding of the decisions made at the time. So you can see previous streams that I've done. We've done a one on D-Day, so you can see the difficulties involved we can get to every single place, look at the views, and see the difficulty that these people had back at the time. This is a lovely look at this valley here. This is beautiful. This is France. And so what we've got on the heads up then, so I'm the pilot, you're on the left. So what I'll usually put is the subject, what we're talking about, up there on the top left. And then we have where we are or where we're trying to go to in the middle. And then the date, the period that we're talking about history-wise. So we're in 1815. And it's just a quick summary. In about April 1814, Napoleon is persuaded to sign the Treaty of Fontainebleau. He's and this basically grants him the Principality of Elba. He gets to keep his titles, and he's given a pension, and then he flies off. He flies off. He travels down to Elba, and he becomes the sort of de facto leader of this little island, which was down here. He is basically on the island for about 300 days. He does a lot of municipal works on there, improvements, but he's restless, I suppose, is the one thing he is. Elba's not France, and in the meantime, the Bourbon monarchy has returned, and they are facing difficulties. One, Louis XVIII hasn't really learned his lesson. There are too many people trying to revert to pre-revolutionary times. The country is still in, I suppose, economic shock from the 25 odd years of war, and the economy is kind of always in France has been on this sort of wartime footing for so long that it's the change back is proving difficult. The I think what I'm going to just get a map up here, so I can see some of these. The thing with a Microsoft Flight Simulator is it's not particularly good at showing you the towns on the map. So I'm just going to get an image up here, and see if I can identify this river below us. So we are flying north. Presumably, I'm going to guess it's the Rhone. So on our left over here is the Massif Central. And I believe this is the Rhone River. Now, so we get Louis XVIII. He's basically been just reverted to type, and Napoleon, he's on his island. He's got his about 1,000 men. There's about 650 of his old guard, 120 odd Polish lancers, and he starts hearing these rumours that things aren't going so well on the mainland of France. The veterans of the army aren't happy. The officers are on half pay. 80,000 are on half pay. So it's very difficult for Louis XVIII to command the loyalty. These soldiers they're all mainly Bonapartists in the army. They've fought this long war, and a lot of these royalists start to come back into the country, wanting to reclaim their lands, reclaim their titles, and the army starts being filled up with royalists, but they're not deemed to be worthy of the position. The generals appointed are not of the caliber of the Bonaparte army, which has just fought a long war. There's also he's hearing Napoleon is feeling that he's not being treated right. There's rumours of his pension being reduced. He's not allowed to see his son or his wife. So he's getting disgruntled. He's fearing that he can't afford his court. And this is a treaty, the Treaty of Fontainebleau. We discussed it in the last episode. It was the one where he's basically treated as a sort of a leader of a country, but because he comes back into France, he breaks this agreement, and he's treated as an outlaw. So peel off here from the river, and we'll head a little bit more directly. Now, so you can get this sense that Napoleon is getting a bit fidgety, put it that way, and he is seeking an opportunity to come back, and the opportunity presents itself around about the 26th of February 1815, where the British, I would say consul, but it's more like a prisoner, a bodyguard. His name's Sir Neil Campbell. He decides for some reason to take a holiday. He goes to the mainland of Italy, and Napoleon seizes his opportunity to escape the island. He has a ship called the Inconstant, and with about 7 other boats, he sets sail and heads towards the mainland of France, and he managed to evade the Royal Navy and the French Navy. So he arrives at the bay, the Huan Bay, Gulf Juan, I think it's how it's spelled, Juan, Juan. It's about here. He arrives here on the 1st of March, 1815. He initially tries to seize the fort at Antibes, but he fails to do this, and so he just decides to carry on, bypass that, heads towards Cannes, and then wants to avoid the Rhone Valley. So this is the Rhone Valley here. We're at the top end of it at the moment. And when Napoleon abdicated, he was coming down from Paris towards exile. He came down this area, Provence and Marseille, and this is where he got a lot of anger directed towards him. So he knew when he was coming back that he had to avoid this area where the cursor is. He had to go across the Alps. This is in March time, so you know if you've been skiing, you're going to be still got a lot of snow up here. And he crosses these Alps, trying to get to a region of France, which I believe is called the Dauphin. Let me just see what I can find. Which is on the other side, which is the sort of Grenoble area, I believe. So the Rhone Alps. The journey from the Mediterranean to Grenoble takes about 6 days. By the way, at this time, Napoleon is about 45 years old. People talk about his health a lot when they talk about Waterloo. Possible he suffered a bit, stomach ulcers possibly, piles. He also took a poison, believed to have taken a poison at the time in April. Around about April, March 1814, he thought he'd take this vial of poison that he had, but he had it for so long that the efficacy of the poison just made him sick. So, but he's 45. He's presumably, doing this journey. It's 200 odd miles, 6 days. It's not a mean feat over the Alps, and he knows as well that he can't outpace the news. The news has gone ahead of him. Once you get over the sort of Rhone Alps area, you kind of you get, I think from Lyon there's actually a semaphore system, so news can travel quite quickly. Wow. I don't even know what that means, but thank you, QV Symbol. I think I pressed. Hello, how are you? Welcome to the stream. I'm not sure how these things work, so you'll have to excuse me if I can't do everything. So what we have is Napoleon is come back to France. He's taken 6 days to cross these Alps, and the news has gone ahead of him. Most people in this area won't arrest him. The local mayors won't do that. He meets the 5th Line infantry at Le Sainier. Good, welcome. Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. We are just heading up from Lyon now, heading towards Paris, following Napoleon's route in 1815. So you can keep an eye on the terrain for me. You can be the co-pilot. Whoa! There you go. See, almost. Napoleon meets the 5th Line infantry on around Le Sainier, around about the 6th of March 1815. These guys have been part of his old army. Colonel Bedoye is his old faithful kind of colonel. They've been sent to stop him, and we did a stream the other day where we got to Le Freg. It's a very narrow sort of valley with a lake, and so this is where the first serious resistance is met by Napoleon. He does the famous line to say, you can shoot me if you want, and I think I've got the quote somewhere. Yes, he says, soldiers of the 5th, you can shoot your emperor if you dare. Do you not recognize me as your emperor? Am I not your old general? And he senses that the soldiers are wavering. I believe he's the commanding officer at the time actually does say fire on him, and they don't. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but he carries on and says, it's not ambition which brings me among you. It's the 45 best heads of government of Paris have called me from Elba, and my return is supported by the first 3 powers of Europe. So despite the film Waterloo, he's actually telling a lie here. He's saying, I've been called back. Don't shoot me. I'm actually sort of been called back by these the powers in Austria, in Vienna, the Congress of Vienna. But it works. I think the 5th line were probably not likely to shoot at their emperor. They all cry "Vive l'Empereur" and storm forward, and then Napoleon then can lead. He had 1,000 men. These people have come over to him, so he's now got about 4,000 men, and he marches into Grenoble. And the Grenoble town citizens, they've removed the Bourbon flag, put up the French tricolour, and the first part of his return is completed, and probably the most difficult bit. So he's now he actually says at the time that before Grenoble I was an adventurer, and at Grenoble I was a reigning prince. And from there he then will gradually move up to Lyon, which we've just left, and he starts sending these feelers out ahead of him. So news is getting out. There's a whole pamphlet that was distributed in Paris at the time, which had this famous sort of poem which describes it quite well, and I can find it. It was basically, it says, "What news, ma foi? It's the tiger has broken out of his den, the monster was 3 days at sea, the wretch has landed at Fréjus, the brigand has arrived at Antibes, and the invader has reached Grenoble." And from this point he then becomes the general has entered Lyon. And the reason why it turns into a general is that from Grenoble to Lyon, Napoleon has sent out feelers. He knows that there's an army of the Alps at Lons Le Sainier, and he's also heard that Ney, Marshal Ney, who fought with him at Borodino, and he made a marshal. He's the one who also persuaded him to sign the Treaty of Fontainebleau. He's promised to the King of France that he'll bring Napoleon back in an iron cage. And Ney is heading to Lons Le Sainier, which we did it in the previous video. It's around about here somewhere, just to the north west of Lake Geneva. Napoleon knows this. He sends a message to the troops there saying, come over to me. So he has this, he managed to persuade the troops, I think, that lots of them were swaying anyway. They're hearing of the return of Napoleon. When they have that thing where the officers are on half pay, so they see that their future is with Napoleon. And when Ney gets to Lyon, he tries to persuade the army to come with him to basically arrest Napoleon, but he senses very quickly that that's not going to happen. And basically he decides to come across to Napoleon. And we were talking last week about in the previous part how that is so significant, because Ney will play a significant part in the Battle of Waterloo. His actions at several parts of the campaign at Quatre Bras and at Waterloo itself there's some questionable actions going on, but you have to see it in the light that he has broken his oath to the King of France. Now, back in this day, these things mattered, honor, all that sort of stuff, and because he has broken his oath, then he knows that there's only two outcomes for him. Is either that he wins with Napoleon, or he will be executed by the whatever government will come in next. So that makes understanding some of Ney's actions later a bit better. So we are deep dans the France here. I think this is a sort of like a massive central area. I will have a we're sort of north of Lyon. We're heading to Auxerre, and we're heading to Auxerre because this is where Ney and Napoleon will meet up, and it's where Ney writes this proclamation saying that telling Napoleon to behave and to be a good leader this time, otherwise I will just be a prisoner of you. And the rest of that poem, it goes on and says, Napoleon slept last night at Fontainebleau, so we will be heading there. And then the next one is that the Emperor proceeds to the Tuileries today, which is the palace. And then the final line is, His Imperial Majesty will address his loyal subjects tomorrow. And that thing is from a Paris broadsheet. It's by an anonymous person. It was published in April 1815, and it just shows the sort of mood of the French citizens to the situation that's unfurling. And what you basically have is you have members of the army are more passionate about Napoleon. The royalists are not a little apathetic at best about supporting the king. And this is when the British government becomes concerned about the survival of the French monarch. And they basically start to make plans for what's going to happen. The Congress of Vienna realised that they have got to play for time. Most of the armies have been disbanded, demobilised, and there's the army of the Prussians and the Allies, British, Dutch allies in Belgium, but they feel that they've got to play for time to allow the Russian army and the Austrian army to get to the borders of France. And they don't think that will happen probably until July. So Wellington and Blücher, the Prussian commander, are it's a difficult thing to understand what they were thinking, because strategically it would be better if they pulled back, maybe, but or go forwards. But because they haven't declared war on France itself, they feel that they can't, for some reason, cross the border and invade France. So they put themselves in a position where they have to sort of be near France. And I believe Wellington felt that it made sense for them to draw back towards the Austrians and the Russians to join up the forces, but he felt he couldn't abandon Brussels. The Bourbon monarchy had retired to Ghent, and when they left in the night, when Napoleon arrives, and I think Wellington decides to compromise and go, okay, well, we'll defend here and wait. Welcome to everybody. Good to see you all. Really appreciate you joining up. I'm going to take a quick break. What usually happens is I'll stream for a couple of hours, and I'll break these up and put them onto YouTube later. I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be back in a second.